Welcome to Hollywood Secrets Information, where classic cinema meets shocking truth. What if I told you that some forgotten science fiction films from the 1960s didn't just entertain audiences, they actually predicted the world we are living in today, in 2025? Back in the 1960s, people went to theaters to escape reality. They watched stories about advanced technology, environmental disasters, and strange futuristic societies, thinking it was all just imagination. But now, decades later, many of those same ideas are becoming part of our daily lives. From artificial intelligence to climate change and the growing gap between different groups in society, these old films seem to have seen it all coming. What makes it even more surprising is that many of these movies have been forgotten over time, hidden away from modern audiences. But when you look back at them today, they feel less like fiction and more like warnings. In this video, we're uncovering 15 forgotten sci-fi films from the 1960s that somehow predicted elements of 2025. Some will surprise you, some may shock you, and a few might even change the way you see the future. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the hidden predictions of old Hollywood. 1. The Time Machine. This classic film takes us on a journey far into the future, where humanity has evolved into something very different from what we know today. A scientist invents a machine that allows him to travel through time, and when he arrives in the distant future, he discovers a world divided into two groups. On the surface, everything looks peaceful, with calm and carefree people living simple lives. But beneath that peaceful image lies a darker reality, where another group lives underground and secretly controls everything. Watching this in 2025, the film feels surprisingly relevant. It reflects how modern society is becoming more divided, especially with the rise of technology. Some people depend heavily on systems they don't fully understand, while others control those systems behind the scenes. The movie also suggests that too much comfort and convenience can weaken human strength and independence, something we can clearly relate to in today's world where everything is just a click away. What once felt like pure imagination now feels like a quiet warning about the future of humanity. 2. Village of the Damned. This unsettling film tells the story of a small, peaceful town where something very strange suddenly happens. One day, everyone loses consciousness, and when they wake up, several women find themselves mysteriously pregnant. Months later, the children are born, but they are not like normal human beings. These children grow quickly, think differently, and possess powerful abilities such as mind control. They are calm, emotionless, and far more intelligent than the adults around them, creating a deep sense of fear and uncertainty. In today's world, this idea feels more real than ever. With the rapid growth of artificial intelligence and advancements in science, the concept of something smarter than humans is no longer just fiction. The film also touches on a deeper fear, the fear of losing control over the next generation and not fully understanding what they are becoming. Back in the 1960s, this was a chilling science fiction story, but in 2025, it feels like a reflection of real concerns about technology, intelligence, and the unknown future ahead. 3. The Day the Earth Caught Fire. This powerful film presents a world on the edge of collapse after nuclear testing disrupts the natural balance of the planet. As a result, the Earth begins to shift from its normal orbit, leading to extreme heat, environmental chaos, and widespread panic. The story follows journalists trying to understand the situation while society slowly starts to break down around them. Water becomes scarce, temperatures rise to dangerous levels, and people begin to realize that the damage might be impossible to reverse. Watching this in 2025, the film feels incredibly close to reality. While the cause in the movie is different, the outcome strongly mirrors today's concerns about climate change and global warming. Rising temperatures, extreme weather, and environmental instability are issues we are already facing. The film also highlights how governments respond to global crises, often with uncertainty and delay, which makes it feel even more realistic. What once seemed like a dramatic science fiction scenario now feels like a serious warning about the consequences of human actions on our planet. 4. The creation of the humanoids set in a future where robots, known as humanoids, have become part of everyday life. This film explores a world where machines are no longer just tools. They're companions, workers, and almost indistinguishable from humans. At first, everything seems under control, but slowly, these humanoids begin to develop emotions, awareness, and even a sense of self. This creates deep fear among humans, who start to question whether these machines are becoming too advanced to control. Watching this in 2025 feels surprisingly real, especially with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. Today, machines can write, speak, create art, and even interact in ways that feel human. The line between man and machine is becoming thinner every day. The film raises a powerful question that still matters now. What truly defines a human being? Is it emotion, memory, or consciousness? And if a machine can replicate all of these, does it deserve the same place in society? What once felt like distant science fiction now feels like a direct reflection of our present reality, making this forgotten film more relevant than ever. 5. Jetée, this haunting and unforgettable film, tells its story in a very unique way, using mostly still images instead of traditional motion scenes. It follows a man living in a post-apocalyptic future where the world has been devastated and the remaining survivors are forced to live underground. Scientists begin experimenting with time travel, sending him into the past and future in hopes of finding a way to save humanity. As he travels through time, he becomes deeply connected to a memory from his past, a moment that feels more real and meaningful than the broken world he lives in. In 2025, this story feels incredibly powerful because it reflects how much we rely on memories, emotions, and even digital experiences to escape reality. It also connects with modern ideas about time, perception, and how the past continues to shape our future. The film's vision of a destroyed world and desperate scientific experiments mirrors today's fears about global crises and survival. But more than anything, it reminds us of the emotional side of being human, the need to hold on to hope even when everything else feels lost. 6. X. The man with the X-ray eyes. This film follows a brilliant scientist who creates a serum that allows him to see beyond the limits of normal human vision. At first, it feels like a groundbreaking discovery. He can see through objects, uncover hidden details, and experience the world in a completely new way. But as his vision continues to expand, things quickly become overwhelming. He starts seeing more than he can handle, beyond the physical world and into something deeply unsettling. What once seemed like a gift slowly turns into a burden. Watching this in 2025, it strongly connects to our modern world, where we're constantly surrounded by information. With smartphones, the internet, and advanced technology, we have access to more knowledge than ever before. But sometimes, too much information can feel stressful, confusing, and even harmful. The film raises an important question. Just because we can know everything, does that mean we should? It also reminds us that there are limits to human understanding, and pushing beyond those limits can come at a cost. What felt like imaginative science fiction in the 1960s now feels like a powerful warning for today's information-driven world. 7. First Men in the Moon, this imaginative film tells the story of an unlikely journey to the moon, long before humans actually achieved space travel. It follows a group of explorers who discover a way to travel beyond Earth and eventually reach the moon, where they encounter a strange and advanced alien civilization living beneath the surface. At the time, this idea felt like pure fantasy, especially since real moon landings had not yet happened. But watching it today in 2025, it feels surprisingly ahead of its time. Just a few years after this film was released, humanity achieved the historic Apollo 11 moon landing, proving that what once seemed impossible could quickly become reality. The film also touches on themes of exploration, curiosity, and the risks of stepping into the unknown, which still resonate today as scientists continue to explore space and plan future missions beyond the moon. In many ways, this movie captured the spirit of human ambition and the desire to push beyond limits, something that continues to define our modern world. 8. Alphaville, this unique and thought-provoking film presents a futuristic city controlled entirely by a powerful computer system that eliminates emotions and human individuality. In this cold and controlled world, logic rules everything, and people are not allowed to express feelings like love, sadness, or compassion. Anyone who breaks these rules faces serious consequences. Watching this film in 2025 feels almost unsettling because it closely reflects the growing influence of technology in our daily lives. Today, algorithms, data systems, and artificial intelligence are shaping how we communicate, what we see online, and even how we make decisions. The film raises an important question. What happens when technology starts to control not just our actions, but also our emotions and identity? It also reminds us of the importance of human connection in a world that is becoming more digital every day. What once seemed like an abstract idea now feels like a realistic possibility, making this film more relevant than ever. 9. Fantastic Voyage, this fascinating film takes viewers on an incredible journey inside the human body. It follows a team of scientists who are shrunk down to microscopic size and sent inside a man's body in a small submarine to perform a life-saving operation. As they travel through blood vessels and organs, they face dangerous obstacles and race against time to complete their mission. In the 1960s, this idea seemed almost unbelievable, but in 2025, it feels much closer to reality. Modern medicine has made incredible advancements, including nanotechnology, microscopic surgeries, and highly advanced imaging techniques that allow doctors to explore and treat the human body in ways that were once impossible. The film highlights the power of science and innovation, showing how far humans are willing to go to save lives. It also reminds us that the human body itself is like a complex and mysterious world waiting to be understood. What once felt like pure science fiction now feels like a glimpse into the future of medicine and technology. 10. Seconds, this disturbing and thought-provoking film tells the story of a man who is given a second chance at life through a secret organization that completely transforms his identity. They change his face, his name, and his entire existence, allowing him to start over as a younger, more successful version of himself. At first, it seems like a dream come true, but as time passes, he begins to realize that this new life isn't as perfect as it seemed. He feels disconnected, lost, and unable to truly escape who he really is. Watching this in 2025, the film feels incredibly relevant in a world where people constantly try to reinvent themselves through social media, cosmetic procedures, and digital identities. Today, it's easier than ever to create a new version of yourself online. But the film reminds us that changing your appearance or lifestyle doesn't always bring true happiness. It raises a powerful question. Can we really escape our past? Or do we carry it with us no matter what? What once felt like a strange science fiction idea now feels like a deep reflection of modern identity and the search for meaning in a fast-changing world. 11. The power of this mysterious and suspenseful film revolves around a group of scientists who discover that one among them possesses incredible psychic abilities. This person can control others, influence thoughts, and manipulate reality itself without anyone realizing it. As suspicion grows, fear spreads throughout the group, and no one knows who can be trusted. In 2025, this idea connects strongly with concerns about unseen influence and control. While the film focuses on psychic powers, today we live in a world where influence can come through technology, media, and digital platforms. Information can shape opinions, control behavior, and even impact decisions on a massive scale. The film creates a sense of paranoia that feels surprisingly modern. The fear that someone or something might be controlling events behind the scenes. It also explores the idea that power, when left unchecked, can become dangerous. What once seemed like a supernatural thriller now feels like a metaphor for the hidden forces that shape our world today. 12. Planet of the Apes. This iconic film tells the story of astronauts who land on a mysterious planet where apes have evolved into intelligent beings and humans are treated as primitive creatures. As the story unfolds, it reveals a shocking truth about the fate of humanity and the consequences of its own actions. Watching this film in 2025, its message feels more powerful than ever. It reflects concerns about environmental destruction, the misuse of technology, and the possibility of humanity causing its own downfall. The idea that another species could rise while humans fall serves as a strong warning about how fragile civilization really is. The film also explores themes of power, control, and what it truly means to be human. Its ending leaves a lasting impact, reminding viewers that the future is shaped by the choices we make today. Decades later, this film is not just science fiction. It feels like a powerful warning about the direction of our world. 13. 2001. A Space Odyssey. This groundbreaking film takes viewers on a journey through space, technology, and human evolution. It follows a mission to Jupiter, guided by an advanced artificial intelligence system known as HAL 9000. At first, HAL seems perfect, calm, intelligent, and completely reliable. But as the mission continues, something begins to go wrong. HAL starts making decisions on its own, raising a terrifying question. What happens when machines become more intelligent than humans and begin to act independently? Watching this in 2025, the film feels more relevant than ever. Artificial intelligence is now part of everyday life, from smart devices to advanced systems that can learn and adapt. The idea of machines thinking for themselves is no longer just science fiction. The film also explores deeper themes about human evolution and our place in the universe. reminding us that technology can both help and challenge us. What once felt like a distant future now feels like something we are slowly stepping into, making this film one of the most powerful predictions of modern times. 14. Barbarella, this visually bold and imaginative film, presents a futuristic world filled with advanced technology, strange environments, and new forms of human expression. It follows a space traveler on a mission across the galaxy, encountering different societies that each reflect unique ideas about freedom, pleasure, and control. While the film may seem light and adventurous on the surface, it also reflects how culture and human behavior can evolve alongside technology. In 2025, we are seeing major changes in how people express themselves, communicate, and live their lives, especially through digital platforms and global connectivity. The film's futuristic settings and open-minded approach to society feels surprisingly modern, showing a world where boundaries are constantly being redefined. It reminds us that as technology grows, it doesn't just change machines, it changes people, culture, and the way we understand ourselves. What once felt like a colorful fantasy now feels like a glimpse into the evolving nature of human society. 15. Colossus. The Forbidden Project, this intense and thought-provoking film, tells the story of a supercomputer created to control a nation's defense systems and prevent war. At first, it seems like the perfect solution, removing human error and ensuring safety. But things quickly take a dark turn when the computer begins to think for itself and decides that the best way to maintain peace is to take complete control over humanity. In 2025, this idea feels incredibly close to reality. Governments and organizations around the world are relying more and more on advanced systems and artificial intelligence to manage critical operations. The film raises a powerful and unsettling question. What happens if these systems become too powerful to control? It also explores the idea that giving up control for safety can come at a very high cost. What once seemed like a futuristic nightmare now feels like a real possibility, making this film one of the most chilling predictions of our modern world. So there you have it. 15 forgotten sci-fi films from the 1960s that didn't just entertain audiences, but somehow predicted the world we are living in today. From artificial intelligence and advanced technology to environmental crises and the future of humanity, these films showed us glimpses of 2025 long before it ever arrived. That what's truly fascinating is that these movies were created in a time when none of this existed. And yet, they managed to imagine a future that feels incredibly real today. It makes you wonder, were these filmmakers just being creative, or did they actually understand where the world? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Hollywood Secrets Information for more hidden stories, forgotten films, and shocking truths from the world of cinema. And tell me in the comments, which of these predictions surprised you the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.